Hello, this is Microsoft Excel made easy for IGCSE ICT and A-level ICT. So our focus majorly will be on the spreadsheet aspect of question paper, and today we'll be looking at paper 3, data analysis and web authoring. So our major interest will be on data analysis. So this is for May-June 2021 0417 paper 3-1, 2 hours 30 minutes. Don't forget to read the instructions, okay? And also the source file for this particular paper will be provided. Do check the description. If you are just joining us, do go ahead to hit the subscribe button, because content like this is what you eventually be getting. Okay, so heading straight to here, it says what you have been supplied with the following source files, and these are the several source files. But most times our spreadsheet source files is actually supplied as .csv file. So here we have this is the second .csv file. This is the first one. Is okay. So we have a third .csv file. So these are the things we'll be working with, and you are asked to do this for evidence document. So make sure you go ahead to do all this for evidence. Create a new word process document. Make sure your name, blah, 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 and go ahead to do that. So we are jumping right away to where our spreadsheet task starts from. So this is task 5, data analysis. So we've actually made a video before now showing you Microsoft Excel data analysis for February, March of 2021. Go ahead to check it out. You are going to use a spreadsheet to list properties in Bali that match the location and room type entered by the user. Is all right. So what you are going to do here is to open and examine the files j2 home.csv and j213rate.csv. So I'm going to locate where my source file is. In case you just open the source file, it's actually going to be provided as a zip folder. So right click it and unzip accordingly. Is all right. So once you open it, you'll be able to see all these files like this. So let me just leave it as large icons. Then it says what? Open and inspect the files. So it's okay. Examine it, home and rate. So I'm going to open home, and this is home. Scattered, I'll have rate, and I'm going to open it. All right. Now it says what? Row 2 in the file j2131 home.csv contains the location of properties and rows. Okay, row 2 for home is okay. Now my Excel file is so that the different workbooks opens like a tab, just like you have for your browser. Yours might be different. Yours might open in different windows, but mine's open as a tab, so it's easy for me to navigate. So if you're not seeing yours like this, don't worry. It's based on the type of software version that you're using, but everything is still good. We still arrive at the same answer though. Now the instruction goes ahead to say what? And row 3 to 8 contains the names of properties. So row 3 to 8 for this home contains the names of properties. So row 3 to 8 contains the names of properties. Does that make sense? Now the instruction goes ahead to say what? These files will be used to provide data for your spreadsheet and must not be changed. So you must not change it means you must not change the values or try typing anything. But I can try to format the content to fit in accordingly. All right, so that it makes more sense. I'm going to do something here now. I'm just going to make this a little bit presentable. Please, this is not recommended. Just for the sake of this class, I just want us to make it look visually appealing. Is that right? So I'm going to make this dark. All right, so this is what we'll have. Is that right? For the property table, I'll have location. I'll have the different properties under different location. Remember, this is Bali. You're working for properties in Bali. Now it says what? Open and examine the file J2131list.csv in a spreadsheet package. So the spreadsheet package you're working with definitely is Microsoft Excel. So you're asked to open this one. And you have it as this. Okay. Now it goes on to tell us what? Data has been placed in cells B4 and B5 to help you test your model. So B4, so this is B4 and B5, all right? So data, they've prefilled this with data before now. So I'm just going to resize this accordingly. Then what it says next, place in the header, left align the text list prepared by, followed by a space, your name, center number, and candidate number. Then a space followed by on, followed by a space, and today's, well, all right. So what I'm going to do is to insert those details in the header. So I'm going to show us how you can quickly insert headers on your Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So the first method is to hit on this page layout. So when you hit on the page layout, you notice that you can immediately insert headers. Okay, so the headers can be left aligned, right aligned, or center aligned. Does that help? Another method to insert header is go to your menu tab, hit on insert, and you should be able to see what? Header and footer, and it will still bring you up to the same place. The third method is just to search for headers and footers, suppose you don't know what to do. So headers and footers. So headers. So header. All right. So it will bring it up for you. So you've now known the 3 ways to insert headers and footer. Now we go ahead to look at the first instruction that says what? Place in the header, left align the text list prepared by. So before now, I just drafted this and I'm just going to copy it now. And I'm going to place it in the left part of my header. So list prepared by touching lives, this is my center number, this is my candidate number on. So I go ahead, come to this design part. When you're in your header, your design part menu tab is activated. If it's not activated, make sure you activate it. Else, if there's anything like any of these current date and time, number of pages, you'll not be able to see it. So it says current date. Is that right? So you add today's date and you're good. So you notice that list prepared by touching lives with center number 5101 with candidate number 0410 on the 8th of the 27th of August 2022. How about this? Now you are asked to do what? Save this as a spreadsheet to the file name, this underscore center number underscore candidate number, for example, this. So I've gone ahead to do this. I'm just going to copy this now. So copy. So it's not much that I must do as this. I just brought it out so that it's more convenient for me. It's okay. But if it works for you, why not? You can do as that also. So I go to file. Make sure you are saving as now. Because if you save, you are kind of overwriting what is already written there. So make sure you change your document file format from CSV to Excel Workbook. Then I'm going to paste this. It's okay here. Then I hit on what? Save. All right. So this is saved and we are moving. Now let me just highlight some of the things we've done. So be able to achieve all this up to here. All right, so we'll be able to achieve this up to here, and our hard work we recorded what? 3 points. All right, so we are getting that A star. How about that? So one thing with British curriculum as far as IGCSE is concerned, so that you know, all these tasks is actually geared towards preparing you for the outside world, okay, for the work environment. Most of the questions are actually tactical questions. They are actually questions that will make you think. They are not questions that will just ask you to define this or define that, but you have to like think, and you have to be very, very creative, and you have to make sure it tests your ability to reason. Is okay. So appreciate what the British curriculum is giving you. because eventually when you go out, you'll be able to handle a whole lot of tasks associated to spreadsheet and data analysis, okay, business analysts and all that. So format the spreadsheet to look like this. So been given this. So if you notice from here, notice that column A and B has been merged, and you have Bali holiday home so big. So format the merge cell A1 to B1 to contain white 28 point text on a black background. Now we come here. So let us go out of the header and footer. Just click outside here, the normal view. So you notice that this guy and this guy has been merged and centered, and it is what? How many points? 28, and it is white on black background. Okay, then it is bold. It's actually bold. It's okay. Now you go ahead. Most times they ask you to either select serif font or sans serif font, depending on what you are asked to use. Okay, you can select Times New Roman or Arial. So, but here we are going to leave it as it is. Now it says what? So let us just go ahead to format the remaining guys also. So we are going to list of properties is also merged and centered. Okay. Then is it boldened? I think it's boldened. All right. Then location up to this. All right, is there any place they ask us for the font size? I think these other guys are left as they are. Then what I'm going to do is to these grid lines, are they so obvious? The grid lines, let me just go ahead to add the grid lines for the sake of it. So I'm going to add these grid lines to just separate things up. Okay. Then I'm seeing something here. Each of the text is actually center aligned. So I'm going to center align this. Okay, center align this. Then for column B, it should open up more. Let me just reduce for column A. Then for column B should open up more. All right, so this makes more sense now. Then what else? Okay, so it's looking like it's now. So you can go ahead to add your grid lines to this. Okay, so it looks more like it. So to some extent, 2 is a little bit hidden or dragged. Oh, okay, 2 is hidden like this. Okay, so you just have to do all the things as shown. It's alright. So just add your grid lines. And here we are. How about this? So at every instance, just make sure you save to avoid, oh, my computer just froze. Oh, my computer just went off. Oh, something happened. Oh, virus just attacked my work. So make sure you save at all times, because to avoid a lot of tails, just save as easy as hitting Ctrl S. Now the next thing you are going to do is next thing you're going to do is enter a function in cell B7, which, depending on the room type, looks up the number of persons from the file J2131 rates. So B7, so this is B7, so equal to, we're going to enter a formula. So depending on the room type, so definitely we're going to be looking from this rate. So this is code, this person, this is rates. Okay, let me just open up this. All right, so I come back here and I have equal to, so this looks like a lookup table, is okay. Then also this look like a lookup table. Eventually we'll be using HLOOKUP for this kind of data and this will be using VLOOKUP for this kind of data. So before now, you should have been well equipped to identify the tables depending on how they are arranged or presented. Is okay? It is not rocket science. It's just what you need to know. So equal to VLOOKUP. So the lookup value in this case is what? The room type. Because from the equation, enter a function in cell B7, which depending on the room type looks up the number of persons from the file. All right, so comma, then the table array. The table array is this set of table in this table. Is okay? This set of value in this table. So select it. So I'm going to show us how to quickly select cells. So Control Shift your right arrow key, select it to the very end, then hit down to select everything. How about that? Is all right? Instead of probably dragging all the way to the right, then coming all the way down, you can just select what? Control Shift to the right, then down. All right. So that done, you hit what? Comma. Then the column index number. What you are looking up is actually the number of persons. Is okay? And in this particular table array, the column for number of persons is in column 2. If this is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. That is as far as this table is concerned. Okay? So we have what? The number of persons is in what? Column 2. Then the column index number is 2. Is alright? Comma. Then the range lookup is, we want an exact match. So you close that up and hit what? Enter. So the number of persons for the room type Q is 3. So if the room type is, assuming P, the number of persons is what? 2. Maybe it's a very small room. If the room type is maybe T, then the number of persons is what? 4. That's the number of persons that the room can accommodate. So it was Q before, we leave it as it is. So we are trying to model it and see whether it's working. So breakfast provided, yes or no. So let's see what the instruction is trying to ask us to do. So this, mark this. So enter a function in cell B8, which depending on the room type displays whether breakfast is provided using. So I'm sure for fewer people, breakfast should be provided. Then for as number of people increases, breakfast will not be provided. Ideally, but I don't know probably what their plans is. But looking at this table, let's see. All right, so for fewer people, breakfast is not provided. But I'm sure for larger, I think there are a whole lot of factors probably that makes breakfast to be provided or not, because I'm having 4 here, yes. I'm still having 4 here, then no. Okay. So whatever it is, let us just go ahead and find that. So equal to VLOOKUP. The lookup value is still Q. So comma. Then the table array is still this table. Just select this first guy. Control Shift your right arrow key, then your down arrow key. Just like if you are playing one of those games, and comma. Then the column index number in this case from this table is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. So you hit what? 4. Then comma. Then the range lookup is exact match. So you close that up and hit what? Enter. So it's trying to tell you that yes, breakfast is provided for this. So if I change this to A, breakfast is still provided, but the number of persons is 2. If I change this to what? E. Alright. So if I change it to B, okay, number of persons is 2, breakfast not provided. So go back to our default Q. So I see how this is trying to pan out. Very, very interesting. So it becomes more interesting eventually for this particular work that says what? 11 points. Wow. Interesting. So cells B10 to B15 must display the names of all properties in the location entered in B4 by the user. So B10, so this is B10. So I'm just going to maybe give it a shade. So this is a shade. So B10 to B15 must display the names of the properties entered by the user. All right. So B10 to B15. So must display the names of the properties entered by the user in B4. Okay, so once this property is displayed, it should automatically display all the names here. All right, so now if, okay, having the ability to interpret some of these statements will help you. Okay, now if there are less than 6 properties available in the location, cells not displaying a property name should be blank. Enter a formula in cell B10 that displays the first property, then replicate this formula. So we are going to enter a formula here first, then we are going to replicate. Replicating means just dragging it down to fill the series, or just double clicking here to autofill. Is that okay? Now, how do we go about this? So in cell B10, now notice that we are going to be using this particular formula as our lookup table here. From this table, you notice that this is what? This is row 1, this is row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, and what? Row 7. Is that okay? So, but our property starts from what? Row 2. Is that okay? So our property starts from what? Row 2. So supposing we just give these names. Supposing we'll just count our properties 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So our properties are 6 properties. The highest number of properties is 6 for each location. Is that okay? But the total number of rows here is what? 7 rows. Does that help? Now let us go ahead to see how we can do this. So we'll start with an if statement. If there are less than 6 properties. So we'll start with an if statement that the logical test will be an HLOOKUP if it is empty. Okay. So value if true will output an empty cell or a blank. Then value if false will output the property name. How about that? So equal to if. Is that right? So if checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if false. So the logical test will be our HLOOKUP, and the lookup value will be this guy, ubud. Okay, all right. Hope I pronounce that well. Comma. Then the table array. Then the table array will be this, the whole of this. Is that right? Now, one thing you have to do while in the examination is that what? Even if you get an error as an answer, don't fret. What you might just need to do is to go back to your formula, your function, and check 1 or 2. Maybe you have made an error and you correct it and you're good to go. Right? Even we, your teachers, sometimes make mistakes. How much more about you? We are all humans. And no one is perfect. If you are perfect, you should be a saint, or you should be the great man up there, you know. So select your range of the table array, and it says what? The table array has been selected. Then, comma, then my row index number. Remember, we are working with what? HLOOKUP. So we are working with row index number. All right. So not column index number now. So my row index number has actually been pre-given here. Is okay. So starting from A10, A11, A12. So my row index number is supposed to be this. Okay. But from this table, my row index number is supposed to be what? This. Which from this table is what? Row 2. But here, my row index number is what? Showing 1. Is that right? Is okay. So it will be what? It will be A10 plus 1. Is that okay? So plus 1. From this table, remember, from this table, my row index number is supposed to be what? 2 for this particular location, ubud. Okay, my row index number is supposed to be 2, but from this table, from this data we are given, our row index number is what? 1. This 1, 2, 3. Is okay? So you now add a 1 to compensate for that lost one that was not given. Is that right? So comma, then the range lookup is what? False. Now you close up your lookup value, your HLOOKUP, and there is something that must happen. So if this is equal to what? 0, because from your question it says what? Cells not displaying a property name should be what? Blank. Cells not displaying a property name should be what? Blank. So if it is not displaying a property name, that is if it has looked up and there's nothing that it has found, so that this eventually is our logical test. So the value if true should be a blank, okay, just like an empty cell. Then the value if false will be for it to just look up and display this location. So for value if false, we'll start our HLOOKUP once again. So HLOOKUP, double click it. So the lookup value will still be this uboard, okay, comma, then the table array will be this. All right, so make sure before any of your exams you do a whole lot of practice, because that is super important, so that you'll be exposed to a whole lot of scenarios. Cambridge can be mad at times, because if you have not probably practiced, how will you tackle questions like this? Questions like this will make you to reason. Okay, so your table array selected, comma, then your row index number, just like we did for, in this case, will still be what? 810. So 810, so my 810 is covered up here, so I'm going to type it 810, all right, plus 1, comma, then the range lookup is false. Okay, so I close up these brackets, which closes up this for HLOOKUP. Is that right? Then I close the second bracket, which closes for which one now? So this bracket closes for this. So this bracket here closes for this one. Is all right? So I hit enter. Okay. All right. So I hit enter. Now you notice that what is trying to tell me that for locations where we have uboard, the first row is what? Timan Villas, or the first property is what? Timan Villas. Is okay? Timan Villas. So, and from the instruction, it says what? Enter a formula in cell B10 that displays the first property, and then replicate this formula into cells B11 to B15. Okay? Now, what they want us to do is to replicate this formula so that it goes down here. All right, now notice we are having something not applicable. Now some of my students will just freak out when they see this, and they'll be so confused, so anxious, and so lost. So don't freak out. What you just need to do is to undo what you've done, come back to your formula and look at what have I not done correctly. Definitely you have gotten the first step, and which is very important. Now you notice that your lookup value, once you are going down, look at what happens eventually. If I go down, now it's showing me not applicable because it's now looking up what? B5, and B5 is what? Q. So we are supposed to lock this up by referencing that particular B4 absolutely. So on some computers you press F4, on some computers you press function F4 to automatically add the $sign. So for my computer, I'm going to press function F4 to automatically add the $sign for each of the lookup value here. So function F4. So I hit what? Enter. So now once I drag down, or once I double click here, it should replicate accordingly. And for this particular location, there's no seat property, so it's actually showing this blank. So supposing they ask us to probably say property not available. So in place of this blank, I can put what? Property not found. Not found. Okay, wait, let me add that particular condition from the first one so that it will affect. So property. So please, this is not part of what you're asked to do. I'm just giving an instance. Property not found. Okay, so hit enter. Our answer is still the same. So see property not found. All right. Do you want to learn more tricks? Now I want us to do something. Briefly, we've completed the question up to this place. We've completed the question up to this place, but I just want us to take more adventure. Are you ready? Yeah, I want to show us something. Now, supposing I go ahead to copy the whole of this location, I hit Ctrl C and I come to this my table and I want to paste it. So I want to paste it in such a way that they are in one column. So I'm just going to paste and transpose. It's okay. Now I want to do something. I want to add a drop down list to here so that once I change my drop down list, I will see my properties changing. It's okay. Please, whatever I'm doing now is outside of our scope. It's okay. It's outside of our scope. I just want to show us something, how interesting what this question has been able to expose us to. So what I just need to do is to go to what? Data and head straight to what? Data validation. Is okay? So in case you don't know how to add a drop-down list, this will actually help you to. We are going beyond the question. Please pardon me. So any value allows, so just change this to list. Is okay? Your source, just click here and just select this as your source. Is okay? Remember before we started, we'll make sure we selected this. So once you make the selection, you hit what? Enter, then hit OK. Now you notice that once you have done that, this drop down comes up. Okay, so this drop down comes up. Now notice what happens to this set of data once I change this. Now, is this not super cool? So for this location Lovina, it has only two properties under it. Aside two properties, no other properties for 3, 4, 5, 6. So let us confirm here. Lovina, please. So is that not super interesting? So you can also have this Nusadua. So it has all the properties intact. It has 6 properties. Then for, let's say, Pulukan, so it has 4 properties under it, but 5th and 6th properties not found. Okay, so you can, I see how this thing works. So interesting. Also, you can also play around with, remember when we're changing this to W and it will give us this. When we're changing this to maybe T, it will give us this. You can also try to add a drop down list here also by just coming here. Just select the whole of these guys. Just select the whole of these guys, copy, then paste it somewhere here. All right. So I'm just going to paste it somewhere here. Then just come here, go to data validation. To add a drop down list is one of the easiest things you can do. So don't be frightened when you say question drop down list. Then click on this select data. Remember what I clicked was this. Okay, once you select list, make sure that all these are ticked or don't touch any of this. So click here, then select this list. Okay, up to whatever. Then hit enter, then hit OK. So you now have a drop down list here. So you can change your drop down list accordingly. Okay, so for every list you select, these variables will be changed. So hope you are getting value in this video. We make videos like this to help some of our students within Nigeria, as well as some students that are outside Nigeria, UK, India, UAE, Philippines, and all that, as well as all the students that actually take IGCSE ICT. Our YouTube channel is focused on helping build you in the area of what? Microsoft Excel. Is okay? But that does not restrict us from giving help to other areas. All right, so in case you need help in other areas of ICT, you can always hit us up. All right, our direct contact is in the description, or send us an email, okay, somewhere on our YouTube channel. Just check. All right, so back to our instruction. It says what? Save your spreadsheet, print your spreadsheet showing the formula. Make sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remember adding a list is not part of the equation. We just did it for added knowledge. Adding this list is not part of the equation. Bringing this data here is not part of the equation. All right, so we just did it for added knowledge. So do well not to include any extras. I just want to show you something cool. So print your spreadsheet showing the formula. Make sure it is landscape. It is in landscape orientation. The row and column headings are displayed. So I'm going to just duplicate this now. Okay. So I'll make sure that it's in the same worksheet. Then this is what I'm going to printing. So I'm going to remove this validation. So I'm going to remove this validation. Any value. Okay. So I've removed this validation. I'm also going to remove this validation. So remove validation, any value. Okay. So I'm going to clear the whole of this. Okay. How to clear? Just come to your home, then click on clear all. It clears all. All right, so this was what we were asked to do before we went on an adventurous move. So I'm going to hit Ctrl S to save, and I'm good. So this is our adventure file. This is the real file. Now you're asked to do what? Print spreadsheet. So Ctrl P will bring up the print guy. Then we are going to go to page setup. So page setup. So hit on landscape, then see how it pans out. So this is landscape. Go back. So anything you want to do on page setup, make sure you do it one at a time to see how it pans out. Click on fit to one page. Okay, one page wide, one page tall. Then hit OK. See how it fits. It's still fitted. Then what else? The row and column headings are displayed. So page setup, row and column headings are displayed. So row and column headings are displayed. So okay. All right, so what else? Print showing the formula. So have to go back here, go to formulas, then hit show formulas. So these are show formulas. So open up this. Oh, wow. So in our formulas, you also have to make sure that you remove this. It's okay. So I'm going to untick this. So come back here and untick this. So that it reduces your formula. Hit enter, it doesn't change anything. So I'm going to drag this and we're good. So still show formula and you have this. Is that right? So Ctrl P will call up your print and you should have this accordingly. So go to page setup, sheets, row and column headings shown, and you have this. Then what else are you supposed to do? So the content of all cells are visible, so resize, yes. But this guy is too. Let's try and reduce it a little. So I'm going to resize this here. Alright, so then this, I'm going to resize this here. Okay. So Ctrl P. So by so, you can select your printer and go ahead to print. So having done that, what else are we asked to do? I'm sure they'll ask us to print without formula, just print only values. So print only values. So still the same thing. Then is it landscape? Print fit on a single portrait. So in this case, you're not working with what? Portrait. So make sure that it is portrait. Hit OK to see how it pans out. Fantastic. Then page setup. What else is the instruction asking us to do? Row and column headings are not displayed. So remove row and column heading. Hit on sheet, untick this, then hit OK. Alright. So if you notice, make sure that this particular header section is shown. Very, very important. Remember, nobody will accept you writing it yourself. So having done this, you make the printout. Change the data to produce a list of properties with a room type of G. And okay, now look at what we just did. Change the data to produce a list of properties with a room type of G in Lusa Lembongan. Print your spreadsheet, showing the values, make sure the printout fits. So what they are invariably asking you to do is to change this location. Okay, should change this location to have this. Is that okay? Then with a room type what G, so you can just put G here. So I'm not sure if they're asking us to include the list that we just finish making here, or invariably what they're asking you to do is to add the list, change this to this. Is that okay? Then the room type should be what? G. So just move this to where you have G. So I was just showing us some adventures I never knew it was part of the question. So just go ahead to print this and you are good. So that is that about this. So at the end you should have 34 points for spreadsheet out of the total 80 points. Hope you got value in this video. Do well to smash the subscribe button because that is the only way you can support us. If at any time you need help, hit us up using our email or any of our contacts. The download files for this is in the description. Go ahead to download and work with it. Remember, practice, 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 and surely you get that grace that you ever needed. I remain touching lives. Microsoft Excel made easy for IGCSE. Peace out.